Hello, welcome. This is Taurus Tours Tarot, and I'm Joy, your tour guide, I guess. So anyway, it's really about using the tarot cards or tarot cards, however you want to say it, to as a tool, to interpret messages from spirit, from universe, from source, from God, from the quantum field, whatever you want to call it, collective consciousness, whatever it is to you. There is this this energy force that this life force that really runs through us all, connects us all. And in that way, our knowledge is really infinite. If we can tap into that life force energy that connects us all, we can find all the answers that we need. It's the life force energy of Mother Gaia herself, of the universe itself, really, right? It connects everything and everyone. And it's this, some people call it the Akashic Records, but it's there. And oftentimes our mind is the dominant force in our being, and so we try to figure things out from a more analytical, mind-based level rather than from this soul feeling level that is really in touch with all that is. And so when you can quiet the mind enough, you can start to really tap into the other sense of feeling that connection to that life force energy that does connect us all. So that's kind of what tarot is for me. And sometimes I say tarot, sometimes I say tarot. It just depends on how I'm feeling. Either way, we know what we're talking about. So okay, so I did pull some cards from the Good Tarot, and oh, actually, let me start with this. I did pull a card from the Nature Spirit deck, which I love, and the card I pulled was Trickster. And you see there's a little fox there, and foxes have been kind of considered the sly or whatnot, so they're like the trickster. But if you look at this scenery, right, where he is, this beautiful snow, the trees covered in snow, and he's kind of just taking this slow little walk, and I don't know, it just gives me this really beautiful, peaceful feeling. And then you have the fox there that is supposed to be the trickster, but he's in this environment of this like really peaceful, white, almost innocent feeling kind of environment, right? So the meaning behind this card really is that things are not always what they seem, right? And I think this is a perfect depiction of that, because there are two feelings coming from this card. There is this peaceful, innocent feeling, and then there's the fox, the sly trickster fox, right? So sometimes I think that we can be in a place, and I've experienced it recently myself, of seeing something in one way when really it could be seen and probably should be seen in another way. And so what is it that makes us see things in one way as opposed to another way? Okay, and so I was asking myself this question: how do you know what is right? Like, how do you trust yourself when you feel something and it turns out to be wrong? How do you make peace with that? And how do you trust yourself with that, right? And so it's funny, because what it is for me, what I come to realize was this particular situation, I was seeing it in a way that was really painful and hard, and felt like lack and loss. And so, but you know, come to find out, I was really wrong about it, and you know, it was really quite the opposite. And so it just kind of made me realize that I think oftentimes when you do see things coming from a place of lack or ego or pain and hurt, then I think you need to examine that. Like, what is causing you to see things in that way or to feel that way? And I've always, something that came to me early on in my journey was follow your greatest happiness. You know, follow your greatest happiness. Follow what brings the most joy to you. And so, you know, that was just kind of allowed me to restore some faith in my feelings, and also understand that you know, I'm not a perfect person. I don't always you know, I can't always see things you know, from the perspective that I want to, because I too have some shadows that I need to examine and that I need to heal and you know, and transmute. So, you know, I hope that makes sense for you. Anyway, so it's kind of funny how, you know, everything Spirit is funny because everything really plays in. So I did pull from the Good Tarot, and the first card that we got was the Chariot. And this card in the Good Tarot deck, the Good Tarot is really all about having a positive message in every single card, yeah? And I love it because really it's about the story that you tell yourself. You know, you can tell yourself you know, an awful crazy story like I just experienced, like regarding, you know, the Trickster, or I can tell myself a good story, right, that feels better to me, and that feels more like love as opposed to lack, yeah? So anyway, the first card is the Chariot, and the Chariot is like this card of victory. For me, it's also this card of like really moving forward after victory, right? Like you fought your battle, and you've overcome, you've had victory, and now you're ready to really move forward with a new strength under your belt, a new lesson, you know, learned under your belt, kind of thing, right? And then we have the Tower. And look how beautiful this Tower card is. This is not the scary Tower card with you know, the building on fire and people falling out. No, not at all. This Tower is really just about transformation, which really the Tower card really is about. It's about transformation and things kind of coming into being sort of suddenly, quickly. You know, it kind of takes you by surprise a little bit. But it brings about this kind of this aha moment or this paradigm shift or this revelation and something like that. It's powerful, powerful card, yeah. But this card is like a reminder to keep your focus, your eyes open, and focus on the learning and the beautiful lessons that you can learn, and really this, you know, this can be a beautiful shift for you. And then we have the Two of Air. And the Two of Air, again, traditionally in the traditional tarot decks, the Two of Air is like the Two of Swords. And, you know, swords are sharp. There's kind of like this kind of hard, sharp, almost like piercing sort of energy. But if you look at this Two of Air, it's beautiful. It's like flowing. This woman, she has a mandala on her back. I don't know if you can really see it, but it's beautiful. She's like, she has these two little birds in her hand, and they're just like these little peaceful birds, and they both have little crowns drawn on them, on their heads. And she's, you know, adorned with all these feathers, and just the movement in her body is like she's doing this little dance, and she's just in a place of peace, you know. And there's none of that sharpness of the swords, the Two of Swords, yeah. But it is still a card about decision making. You know, twos oftentimes are about, you know, making a decision about something, right? Like, is it this or is it this kind of thing? But this card is really reminding us to, you know, take your time in making that decision. Do the little dance that you need to do. Be patient and allow the guidance to come to you so that you can make the decision that is right for you. Yeah. And then we have the Magician. I love the Magician. I don't know if you've ever read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, but the Magician to me is like the alchemist. He's the person who you know, can turn you know, iron into gold, right? Because he just believes that he has this, or she has this incredible belief in magic and transmutation. Also being able to, you know, take something negative and turn it into something positive. You know, take an experience that might have been a little bit painful in the moment and see the goodness in it, see the beauty in it, right? So, you know, talking about my own experiences as a child growing up, and there are some pretty you know, things that would be considered traumatic, you know, and traumatic, right? Because I don't look at it that way anymore. I look at it as this incredible opportunity to have learned something about human nature, about myself, and it was something that was provided me with this incredible compassion for others, you know, this incredible understanding and compassion, which, like, you know, I wouldn't give up for the world. You know, it's amazing to really truly have compassion for others. That's a very beautiful thing. Yeah. So it's really, you know, it's awesome. These two cards come out together, and this just really talks about like a real victory over this surprising moment that has or may be coming into your life, and you know, you're going to overcome it. You're just going to overcome it in this really wonderful way that is going to be an opportunity for you to learn something, and you're going to be able to take that experience and really transform it into something wonderful, and through that you can bring you know, more beautiful things into your life. So the Magician is also, to me, about law of attraction. Yeah, it's about like really being able to be in the vibration of something and bringing it into your life. Yeah. And then the Two of Air here is really speaking of you know, just having learned something incredible, like from this experience here, right? And being able to take it and integrate that learning into your life, right? Because every day we have to make choices. What we're gonna wear, what we're gonna eat, you know, whatever. And you know, as we go through our day, you know, are we making the right choices? Yeah, are we making the right choices? Are we making the choices that are in our best interest, that serve our greatest good? Are we making those choices? Or because, you know, and are we conscious of those choices that we're making? Or are we going through our day not really conscious of the choices that we're making and just allowing our autopilot, our subconscious, to take control? You know, or are we being very conscious of it? And I think that, you know, this opportunity here with the, you know, victory over this, you know, kind of surprising thing that comes up for you, victory over that is really helping you to be more aware and more conscious through every part of your day. But, you know, you need to integrate it. Yeah, you need to take that lesson, that learning, and then integrate it. And this is kind of, you know, talking about integrating it into your everyday life, so that it's not just an idea floating around up here, but it's actually something that, a learning that you're able to put into practice, and then furthering it by, you know, really being able to bring beautiful things into your life through that consciousness, through understanding the vibration that you're in, being the right vibration of what you wish to attract. Yeah. And taking you know, negative or what would be considered negative experiences, right, and transmuting it and turning it into something positive. Yeah, you can't ask for more than that. I mean that's a pretty good way to go through life, you know. You know, understanding that the challenges that come your way are really just opportunities to learn something about yourself, to be more conscious, to be more aware, but then also to integrate that learning and that awareness and that consciousness into your everyday life. Yeah. So something I struggle with sometimes is, you know, having all of these great epiphanies and great aha moments, and but then they kind of remain in the ethers a little bit, you know, like they're there, they're great ideas, I know them, but on a very mental level. And now my job is to really bring them down and integrate them into my, you know, 3D reality. Yeah, my physical reality. Yeah. All right. So you know, that is the message, and this really does fall into the whole idea of things are not always as they seem, right? You know, something very negative could actually, or perceived as very negative, could actually be something very positive for you. But again, it is about taking the right perspective. Okay. All right. I love you. You know, walk in peace, love, joy, aloha, and namaste.